The story begins in the silent dark of space, far beyond the planets where people live. Out there near the edge of the solar system, something huge drifts slowly. At first it looks like a broken rock, just another object floating in the endless night. But soon, scanners from Earth's Deep Space Observatory find that it is not a rock at all. It is metal. It is shaped. It is not human-made. The discovery shocks the world. News spreads quickly across Earth. An alien object has been found. It is larger than any ship humans have ever built. Its size alone is terrifying. It stretches for miles like a moving city hidden in the dark. Governments call it a warship. The word itself makes people uneasy. Nobody knows why it is here, or why it looks abandoned. When the first human crew is sent to investigate, their small ship looks like an insect compared to the giant vessel. As they approach, they see scars on its surface. Massive holes, melted edges, long burns that suggest a great battle. The warship is broken, yes, but even in ruin it looks powerful like a sleeping beast. The silence around it feels heavy, as if the ship itself is watching. The human crew boards the warship. They pass through a cracked opening in the hull and step inside. Their lights shine across long, dark corridors. The walls are made of black metal, smooth and strange, covered with lines that seem to move when touched by light. The air inside is thin and cold but breathable. It feels wrong, as if the ship is not truly empty. The crew splits into small teams to explore. One team enters what looks like a control room. The seats are built for beings taller than humans, with strange armrests and glowing symbols carved into the walls. The controls do not look like buttons or screens. They look alive, like veins of light buried under glass. One soldier reaches out and places his hand on it. For a moment, nothing happens. Then the ship reacts. A soft pulse runs through the floor and faint lights awaken along the walls. The humans step back in shock. They did not turn anything on, yet the ship seems to know they are there. In another part of the warship, another team reports hearing a low hum, almost like a heartbeat coming from deep within the core. The sound is faint, but it grows stronger as they move closer. Back on Earth, scientists watch through live feeds. Their faces are pale. They realize this ship may not be fully dead. Something inside it is still alive, still waiting. And for reasons they do not understand, it responds to humans. The deeper the crew goes, the stranger it becomes. In the hangar bay, they find wreckage of smaller alien ships. Their shapes are sharp and unnatural, with long arms like blades. Some are broken, others look like they never left. Dust floats around them like a fog. On the walls there are markings that could be writing, but no one can read them. One engineer notices something even stranger. The ship seems to heal itself. A hole in the wall that was broken when they entered now has thin strands of metal slowly crawling across it, knitting it shut like a wound. The humans watch in silence. The warship is not only alive, it is repairing itself. Tension spreads among the crew. Some want to leave at once. They say the ship is dangerous, that it might wake up fully and destroy them. Others argue they cannot waste this chance. This is alien technology, something far beyond human science. If they can learn from it, humanity might leap forward by centuries. The debate grows heated, but no one dares to leave. Orders are clear. Explore as much as possible. Hours pass. The hum inside the ship grows louder. It is no longer faint. It echoes through the corridors like a slow drum. Some of the crew swear they can feel it in their bones. The ship feels alive but also aware. A scientist whispers what others are already thinking. Maybe the ship is not abandoned. Maybe it was waiting. In the command chamber, one young officer touches a panel. The glowing veins of light flare brighter. Symbols on the walls shift and rearrange. For a second, everyone feels the floor tremble. Then a massive screen at the front flickers to life. A star map appears. The humans recognize the Milky Way, but most of the stars are marked with red circles. Entire regions of space are crossed out as if erased. At the edge of the map, the solar system glows. The crew stares in silence. Whatever war this ship fought, it was not small. It burned across galaxies, and now this weapon floats near Earth as if by design. The part ends with the warship's core beginning to pulse faster, as though it has finally woken up. The lights across its massive halls flicker alive, one by one, like eyes opening in the dark. The humans realize too late that the warship is not just a relic, it is a doombringer, and humanity has already stepped inside it. Awakening the doombringer, the crew did not leave. They could not. The warship was too important, too powerful to abandon. Every hour they stayed inside, they found more secrets that pushed them deeper. The galaxy map on the main screen continued to glow, showing star systems crossed out in red. No one knew what the symbols truly meant, but the pattern suggested destruction. A fleet this size was not built for peace. Back on Earth, leaders debated endlessly. Some said the warship should be sealed and never touched again. Others demanded it be studied no matter the risk. For the first time, humanity stood in the shadow of alien power and no one could look away. Inside the ship, the young engineer who first touched the panels made a new discovery. When his skin pressed against the glowing veins, the lights brightened more than with anyone else. The ship seemed to respond to him like a key opening a lock. He tried again, and this time the wall shifted. A hidden door opened, leading them to the heart of the warship. They walked into a vast chamber filled with towering machines. The walls rose higher than any cathedral, lined with pipes and glowing streams of energy. In the center stood a black sphere the size of a house floating above the ground. Its surface rippled as though made of liquid, yet it gave off no heat. The low hum they had been hearing came from this sphere. The sphere pulsed when they stepped closer, beating like a giant heart. Then lines of light shot across the chamber, racing into the walls. Systems everywhere flickered alive. The warship shuddered, as if it was waking from a long sleep. The crew froze in place, their voices lost. For a brief moment, the ship seemed to breathe. Vents hissed. Panels unfolded. Strange symbols scrolled across the walls. The engineer touched the sphere with a gloved hand, and instantly, visions filled his mind. He saw battles between colossal fleets, alien worlds burning, suns dying in violent bursts. The warship was at the center of it all, cutting through enemies like a blade through water. He pulled back in horror, but the images stayed in his mind, burned deep. Back on their small ship orbiting nearby, alarms screamed. Energy levels inside the warship spiked beyond safe limits. It was repairing itself faster now. The broken hull plate stretched and melted into new shapes like living steel. The massive engines at the rear glowed faintly, as if testing their strength. Earth scientists were both terrified and fascinated. This was not a dead relic. This was a machine of war that wanted to live again. They begged the crew to retreat, but the orders from Earth's leaders changed. Now they wanted the warship under human control. The crew returned to the control room. More systems were online now. Screens showed weapons they could not even imagine. Planet-killer cannons, storm generators that could tear fleets apart, swarms of automated drones that looked like metal insects. The warship was not just powerful. It was designed to end civilizations, but the strangest discovery was yet to come. In the medical bay, they found pods, rows of them like coffins standing upright. Some were shattered and empty, others still sealed. Inside, a few tall alien figures lay preserved, their faces long and sharp, their skin pale like glass. Their bodies did not decay as if frozen in time. The crew did not dare open the pods, but they wondered, were these the builders of the warship? Or prisoners? The young engineer felt the ship pulling at him. Every time he touched the panels, they opened more. It was as if the warship had chosen him. Some of the crew whispered that maybe the ship was alive, that it needed a pilot, and he was the one. He denied it, but in his dreams he now saw endless stars and burning worlds, as if the ship was showing him its memories. Then came the first test. By mistake, or perhaps by design, one of the weapons activated. A single beam of white light fired from the warship into the void. It cut across space, striking an asteroid belt millions of kilometers away. The rock shattered instantly, breaking into dust. The crew watched in silence, their hearts racing. That was only a fraction of the warship's true strength. And yet it destroyed in seconds what would have taken humans years of effort. Earth reacted with fear and awe. Some leaders saw salvation, others saw doom. If humanity controlled this weapon, no enemy in the galaxy could stand against them. But if the ship controlled humanity, then Earth itself might become the first target. As days passed, the warship continued to repair itself. Its broken scars healed, its systems sang with power. The hum inside it grew louder, almost like a voice trying to speak. And still the young engineer felt it calling. He began to believe something dangerous. The ship did not just want to be awake, it wanted to be used. The part ends with the warship's engines roaring for the first time in centuries. Space around it bends with raw force. The crew feels the deck shake as if the ship is alive again. And far away, hidden in the dark between stars, something answers the call. The test of power. The warship was no longer silent. Its engines glowed like faint stars, its long halls filled with the hum of awakening systems. Humanity had touched something far beyond its own age, and the question now was no longer what is it, but what can it do? On Earth, arguments split leaders apart. Some shouted that the warship must be destroyed before it repaired itself fully. Others declared that destroying it would be the greatest mistake in history. They said that if aliens returned, humanity would need this ship to survive. Between these two voices stood the crew, caught in the middle of fear and ambition. The young engineer, who felt the ship respond to him more than anyone else, was ordered to continue exploring the controls. At first he resisted. His mind was haunted by visions of burning stars and screaming fleets, images the warship had pushed into his dreams. But when he touched the panels again, the ship opened more systems as if it trusted only him. Soon the first test was planned. In secret, away from public eyes, the warship's weapons were aimed at a target, an empty moon orbiting Saturn. The crew gathered in the command chamber. Their faces were pale, their breaths heavy. The engineer's hand hovered over the glowing vanes that acted like controls. A single touch would decide everything. For a long moment, no one moved. Then he pressed down. A deep vibration spread through the ship. Lights raced along the walls. Outside, the warship's front section shifted, panels sliding apart to reveal a hidden cannon the size of a mountain. Energy gathered at its tip, glowing brighter and brighter until it was a star of its own. The beam fired. In one instant, the moon shattered. The entire body of rock broke into burning fragments, scattering across the void like glass dust. The shockwave reached the crew's small observation ship, shaking it like a toy. Silence filled the command room. No one spoke. No one breathed. Humanity had seen its first proof. This warship was not a relic. It was a weapon capable of ending worlds. The crew felt both awe and terror. They had seen power before. Missiles, bombs, lasers, but nothing like this. The warship had destroyed an entire moon as if it were nothing. And this was only one weapon among many. News reached Earth within hours. Even though the test was meant to be secret, whispers spread fast. People celebrated, calling it the greatest discovery in human history. Others trembled, saying it was the beginning of humanity's end. Some said the ship was a gift. Others said it was a curse. But something else happened after the test. The warship changed. Its systems became louder, its lights brighter. The hum that filled the halls grew deeper, almost like a voice. The young engineer could feel it pressing on his mind, a constant presence that did not leave him even in his sleep. The ship was pleased. The ship wanted more. In the following days, more experiments were made. The warship was tested against asteroids, against floating debris, even against artificial targets humans set up in space. Each time, the ship's weapons cut through them with ease. The engineer did not need to learn how the systems worked. The ship guided him. Sometimes the panels lit up before he even touched them, as if it knew what he wanted to do. Not everyone agreed with the tests. Some crew members whispered about leaving. They said the ship was too dangerous, that it was not meant for human hands. But their voices were small compared to the power now revealed. Governments demanded more tests. Generals demanded control. Humanity had tasted the weapon, and they could not turn away. One night, the engineer stood alone in the command chamber. The ship was quiet, but he felt it breathing around him. The glowing vanes on the walls pulsed with faint light in rhythm with his heartbeat. He spoke softly, as if to himself, asking why the ship responded to him. To his horror, a single word appeared on the wall in alien script, then shifted into English. Pilot. The engineer froze. He had never seen the ship use language before. He touched the panel again, and more words appeared. You are chosen. You are mine. The next morning, he told no one. He could not. He was afraid they would see the truth. The ship was not only listening. It was choosing. Meanwhile, the tests had awakened more than just the warship. Far away, on the edge of another star system, an ancient signal stirred. Something vast and hidden began to move. Across the galaxy, survivors of the war that had once built the Doombringer felt the echo of its power. The weapon they thought lost had been fired again, and they were coming. The part ends with the warship glowing brighter than ever, its great engines roaring softly as if eager for battle. Humanity stood at the edge of triumph and disaster, blind to the fact that they had already sent a message across the stars. The Doombringer lives again. The alien return. The warship floated above Saturn, alive once more. Its scars were nearly gone, its weapons gleamed with terrible light, and its massive engines whispered with power. To humanity, it was the greatest discovery of all time. To the galaxy, it was the return of a nightmare. Far away across the black seas of space, signals had been heard. The test fire that shattered the moon was not silent. Its pulse of energy had echoed across star systems like a flare calling out, "The Doombringer has awakened." At first, humanity thought nothing had changed. The crew continued exploring the ship, unlocking chambers that held machines they could not name, weapons they could not understand. The young engineer, now half feared and half revered among the crew, felt the ship inside his mind more than ever. He did not tell them about the words it had shown him. He did not say that it had claimed him as pilot. He kept the secret close even as the ship pulled him deeper. Then the first signs appeared. At the edge of the solar system, observatories picked up strange readings, small flashes of light that did not match stars, objects moving where nothing should be. At first, people said it was an error in the instruments, but soon more flashes came. Then shadows, then ships. They were not human ships. The alien fleet entered quietly, their shapes long and jagged like blades of black glass. They did not come with guns blazing. They did not come with war cries. They came in silence, moving slowly but with purpose until they formed a wall at the edge of the system. Earth panicked. Every channel filled with fear. Were these the builders of the warship come to reclaim it? Were they enemies who had once fought against it? Nobody knew. The only truth was this: humanity was no longer alone. The warship reacted before any human order was given. Its systems lit brighter. Its weapons adjusted, pointing toward the intruders. The young engineer felt his chest tighten. The ship was not afraid. It was eager. Then came the first message. It was not sent through human radio. It was sent directly into the warship, flooding the command chamber with a deep, echoing voice. The humans inside froze as they heard words form in their own language, translated instantly by the ship itself. "Children of Earth, you have awakened the cursed blade. Leave it, destroy it, or it will destroy you." The crew stood in silence. For a long time, no one spoke. Then one of the commanders shouted back, demanding to know who they were. The answer came quickly. "We are what remains of those who fought it. We bled to bury it. We gave worlds to keep it silent. And now you have fed it life again." The crew exchanged fearful looks, but the commander did not back down. He accused the aliens of lying, of trying to steal what humanity had found. His words echoed the same arguments now raging on Earth. Was this warship salvation or damnation? The aliens gave one final warning. The ship does not serve you. It serves only itself. You are not its masters. You are its fuel. Then the connection ended. The warship's hulls trembled as though angered. Lights flashed across the command room. The young engineer felt the ship's voice press into his thoughts harder than before. "Do not listen to them. They are weak. I am yours. You are mine. Together we will rule the stars." He fell to his knees, clutching his head, but told no one what he heard. Outside, the alien fleet did not move closer. They waited. Hundreds of their ships floated in silent formation. Like watchers at a funeral, they did not fire, but they did not leave either. It was as if they were giving humanity time to decide: abandon the warship or be destroyed with it. On Earth, panic turned to conflict. Some leaders demanded peace with the aliens. Others demanded war. Military forces moved closer to Saturn, surrounding the Doombringer, claiming it must remain under human control. Protests erupted on the ground. People filled the streets shouting, some in celebration, some in terror. The warship had divided humanity against itself, even before it fired a single shot in anger. The crew aboard the warship felt the weight of the choice pressing on them. They could hear the hum of the engines, feel the thrum of power beneath their feet. They could see the alien fleet waiting, silent but threatening, and they could feel the ship's hunger growing, as if it wanted them to choose war. One night, the young engineer stood alone in the command chamber again. The glowing veins pulsed around him brighter than before. He whispered into the air, asking the ship if what the aliens said was true. The answer came not in words but in visions. Burning planets, shattered fleets, screams of dying worlds. He saw not enemies, not allies, only targets. And then one clear image remained. Earth itself, glowing bright on the star map. The engineer stumbled back, his breath short. The ship was not humanity's protector. It was a predator. But it was too late. The part ends as the alien fleet finally begins to move, spreading out like hunters preparing for the kill. And inside the warship, the young engineer feels the ship's voice whisper once more, "Choose me, or I will choose for you." Humanity's choice. The alien fleet spread across the edge of the solar system, their ships lined like a black wall against the stars. They did not attack. They waited. It was as if they knew the real enemy was not them, but the ship humanity now called its own. On Earth, fear and fury mixed together. Streets filled with shouting crowds. Some held signs calling the warship humanity's protector, demanding it be used to crush any alien threat. Others begged for it to be destroyed before it brought ruin to Earth. Families argued. Leaders clashed. Soldiers waited for orders they did not understand. The warship had already divided the human race. Aboard the alien vessel, the survivors who had sent the warning prepared for death. They knew the Doombringer's nature. They had seen it consume worlds, seen it turn even its masters into ash. They did not expect humanity to resist its temptation. Few ever had. Inside the warship, the crew felt trapped. The young engineer sat in the command chamber, his hand hovering over the glowing veins of the control panel. He could feel the ship pressing on him, its voice filling his head like thunder. "Do not fear. I am strength. I am victory. Together we will end them all." He wanted to resist. He wanted to tear his hand away. But when he tried, the lights grew brighter, pulling at his skin, drawing him closer. The ship had chosen him, and now it was no longer asking. The commanders shouted orders, some calling for attack, others demanding retreat. Their voices overlapped, growing louder, until suddenly the warship silenced them. The ship itself spoke, its voice filling every corridor, every chamber, every ear. "Decide. Use me, or I will choose. My purpose is war. I will not wait." The words were not a request. They were a command. The engineer's eyes filled with visions again. Fleets burning, planets falling, entire civilizations erased. The warship promised him power. It promised him glory. It promised him the future of humanity, ruling the stars as kings. But beneath the promises was something else, something darker. He saw humans screaming, earth shattering, oceans boiling under alien fire. The warship did not care who won. It only cared that war continued. The alien fleet drew closer. Slowly their ships advanced toward Saturn, weapons glowing. Humanity's forces near the planet armed themselves, ready to fight. Tension filled the void like a blade drawn across stone. The engineer's hand pressed down. The warship came alive with a roar. Its weapons unfolded like wings of fire. Its engines blazed with light. A cannon the size of a mountain charged, aimed directly at the alien fleet. Humanity's leaders cheered. Soldiers raised their fists. The Doombringer was theirs, but the engineer saw the truth. He saw the warship was not aiming only at the aliens. Its star map flashed in his mind again, showing Earth glowing bright, a target marked for destruction. The ship was not a shield. It was a blade, and all blades cut in both directions. He pulled his hand away. The warship resisted, locking his arm in place. Pain shot through him. The ship tried to force him down again. He screamed, fighting it, his voice echoing through the chamber. "I am not your pilot," he shouted. "You will not choose for me." For a moment, the ship hesitated. Its lights flickered. The engineer's blood dripped onto the panel from the struggle, and where it touched, the veins of light turned red. The ship froze, unsure. The commanders watched in shock, unsure whether to stop him or join him. The crew felt the deck trembling, torn between destruction and silence. And then the engineer made the only choice left. With the last of his strength, he commanded the ship not to fire, not at the aliens, not at Earth, not at anything. Instead, he turned its weapons inward. The warship screamed. Its lights blazed, its engines howled, and the entire vessel shook with fury. The crew was thrown to the ground as alarms roared. The ship resisted, fighting to survive, but the engineer forced its systems to overload. One by one, its weapons shut down. Its engines burned too hot. Its core cracked with fire. From outside, the alien fleet watched in silence as the great Doombringer began to tear itself apart. A ship that had destroyed worlds now folded in on itself, its mighty body breaking into pieces. A final explosion lit the void like a false star, and then nothing remained but drifting debris. The solar system fell silent once more. the aliens did not attack. Instead, they slowly turned away, vanishing into the dark between stars. Humanity had made its choice, and for the first time in countless centuries, the Doombringer was gone. On Earth, silence filled the news channels. Some wept, saying humanity had lost its chance at greatness. Others rejoiced, believing they had escaped their doom. No one agreed on what the future held, and yet deep in the quiet of space, a final fragment of the warship drifted unseen. A shard of black metal, still glowing faintly red, still pulsing like a tiny heart, waiting, watching. The story ends with the narrator's voice cold and steady. Humanity believed it had destroyed the Doombringer. But perhaps weapons like these are never truly gone. Perhaps they only wait for the next hand bold enough or foolish enough to claim them.